1956. I had recently got out of the hospital after a year of being treated for various diseases and things. And I was sitting around the house with my mother in the front room, and all of a sudden we hear this beautiful sound, sound like a church choir, like almost women's voices. It was loud, didn't recognize the words or even the language, but it sounded holy, sounded sacred, sounded spiritual. And so we were thinking that somebody had a radio on or a record playing. So we went through our house, checked the record player, there's nothing on there. We checked the radios, it's off, TV's off. But we hear the sound inside the house. So we go outside thinking maybe somebody's playing in one of our neighbors. Wherever we went, in the house, outside the house, down the street, up the street, backyard, front yard, it made no difference. The volume was exactly the same. It felt like it was resonating within us and around us and was a part of us. It was the most beautiful, there's no other word for it, angelic choir I've ever heard. And the music went on and on and on. And we were feeling very peaceful and actually blissful. So we sat down and we listened for a period of time. I have no memory of how long, till it finally dissipated. That's the word, because it just kind of faded out. We were looking at each other and trying to figure it out. My mother suggested that, well, maybe we've been hearing a choir of angels. And being a young kid, even now, in my old age, I'm thinking she hit it right on the head. That's exactly what we heard. So, a couple days later, I'm sitting in the front room, and I hear a car make a screeching sound, and I hear my dog screaming, and I run outside the front yard, and on the road in front of the house, one of my dogs was laying there practically dead, couldn't move, just limp. So I picked it up in my small arms. I carried it in the house. And I started praying to God to help my dog. I love this dog. So I prayed to God to give me the energy and the healing ability to bring it back. I tensed up my body and focused on the love of God. And I put my hands actually on the dog. When I did this, it was almost like electricity shooting out of my fingers, just, and the dog jumped up. He ran around in circles and jumped all around the place. He was healed, not even a limp. Makes me wonder if the two incidences were kind of connected. But from that day forward, I was able to do things and sense things, and my abilities to know stuff was greatly increased. So what happened on that day? Would be my mother here? Was it just some random choir singing that somehow we all picked up in the house, outside the house? I really do believe that day we heard the angels sing, and they changed my life.